Joining us now is Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio. He's the founding chairman of the House Freedom Caucus. We've got important stuff to talk about the potential future for health care. And then we have the news of the moment. The president putting out word that he believes that Michael Flynn is a wonderful man and that it was the media treating him unfairly. He just fired this man, compelled his resignation. Does this take by the president concern you about what you still don't know about that situation?
Well, Chris, a couple things. One, staff can't mislead the people they work for. So I understand that and why Mr. Flynn is no longer working at the White House. I get that. Second, let's let the Intelligence Committee do their work, get the initial facts out there. If further investigation is warranted, then we'll do it at the Oversight Committee, and I'm open to that, certainly supportive of that if that's what the facts point to. No one's ever accused me of not being tough on my own party. So let's do that, but let's also, as Chairman Chaffetz and Chairman Goodlatte said yesterday, let's also look at this leak issue. Let's get all the information for the American people, but let's start first with the Intelligence Committee. They're the committees of jurisdiction, and let's get the facts from them, and then we can proceed.
Now, part of the facts here already need to be highlighted because there is political speculation going on the side of let's look at these leaks that keeps putting out that why was Michael Flynn wiretapped? We do not know that Michael Flynn was wiretapped, but it keeps being said by people who want this investigation into the leaks, and it deserves to be called out. Also, what deserves to be called out, and I'm interested to see if you agree with this, you want to look at the leaks, Jason Chaffetz, but you do not want to look at the underlying substance that led to the leaks.
No, I'm open to all that, but I think let's proceed in a deliberative way here. Let's let the Intelligence Committees get the facts. If, in fact, then the Oversight Committee needs to do more, I'm willing to do that. Like I said before, we certainly did that in the last administration, and I've never been one who's been accused of not being tough on our own party. You can ask former Speaker Boehner about some disagreements we had. So I'm willing to do that, but let's proceed in a deliberative manner to get the facts for the American people, including how this leak happened. How classified information was given to the press, how that's out there, and as you point out, you know, the wiretap and everything, what was behind all that as well?
Well, I don't know that there was any wiretap. It just keeps being said, and we've always had leaks. That's not something that's new, and certainly this president embraced
leaks. Doesn't make
leaks.
it right. Just because we've always had it doesn't make it right.
Well, that's true.
So let's get to the bottom of it.
But politicians are way too selective about when they're outraged about it. That's
I'm not. Look, I'm not.
You had a president who celebrated WikiLeaks, mentioned him as much as he could. Now he's got a problem with leaks. But that's politics. You said let's do this in all deliberative fashion. For Benghazi, you encompassed half a dozen probes by 5 different committees. The formation of a select House committee, 33 hearings, $7 million on Benghazi. This, you want to take it slow.
That was after the Intel Committee, the Foreign Services Committee, Foreign Affairs Committee, the Oversight Committee had deliberative hearings for a long, long time before Speaker Boehner called for the Select Committee. It was years after. So we did the deliberative process. But when you get to a point where Ben Rhodes is misleading the American people, and we know Secretary Clinton misled the American people, that's what warranted calling for the Select Committee, which I had the privilege of serving on.
And you know that the White House is saying that there was misleading facts here. You have the president who's blaming the media for a firing that, by all accounts from inside his own staff, he was behind. You have just as many discrepancies of fact here. You have arguably as broad or broader implications of national security, but you don't seem as urgent about it. My take.
And Chris, no, I'm going to take the same approach we took with the example you brought up, the Benghazi affair. We're going to take the same approach. Let the standing committees begin to do the work. Let's get the facts. If the Oversight Committee needs to do more work, we'll do that. If at some point there's a requirement or it looks like we need a Select Committee, I'm open to that as well. But let's proceed in the same manner we did for that situation in the last administration.
Which was that when you started to sniff out that there was political resistance to getting to what you saw as the truth, you blew it up and went into a bigger situation. Here we already have Rand Paul, who holds himself out as an independent spirit among Republican-inclined people, and he says, can't waste time having Republicans investigate Republicans. You guys are in control of all of these committees. The idea that it would be done divorced from partisanship is hard to see, given the lack of curiosity from Republicans about the Flynn situation thus far.
There's not a lack of curiosity on my part, and as I've said many times, I'm willing to look at the facts, and if it means sometimes going against your own party, I'm willing to do that. But let's do this in the right way, the way the American people deserve. Let's get all the facts on both what happened, the underlying situation with Mr. Flynn, and on the leak situation as well.
But I'm saying we just haven't seen the political capital being expended here that would give confidence that you guys want to do it. I had Congressman Chris Collins on here who had to explain away your leadership being absent about the Flynn resignation by saying they were having day breakfast with their spouses. Now, of course, he was joking, but it's because the whole thing was a joke. Nobody said anything because this was a president in their same party.
I'm not viewing it as a joke. I'm viewing it as a very serious issue, both what happened with the communications and the leak itself. And I think we should get to the bottom of it, proceed in a straightforward fashion. And if further investigation is warranted, and if a select committee is warranted, I'm open to that as well. But let's proceed like we should and get the truth.
Should the transcript be put out?
I'm open to that too. Let's see. But I mean, again, we want to make sure it's put out in the right way. There's and redacted, and if there's serious classified information there. So I'm open to that as well. But let's proceed through this deliberative fashion. Let's get to the truth on all accounts.
Now, as we segue into talking about Obamacare, because I'll take you at your word about how we proceed on Michael Flynn. We'll see what you guys do and don't do, and we'll take the scrutiny from there. But